Hello and welcome to this series of instructional videos on AECOsim Building Designer V8i. In this session we're looking at schedules and reports and the data that makes them up. So let's get going and come to our task-based interface straight away. We need to go to the fourth tab down, that's called Data. Clicking on that opens it up and we come to the fourth icon in Datagroup Explorer. Datagroup Explorer opens up for us, and this dialog's made up of a couple of sections, pull downs, and a few icons there at the top left-hand corner, but the main parts are the fields on the left and the main field on the right. The one on the left shows every single object that's currently being used in our project, not only in our active file, but it also harvests it from the actual references that make it up too. You can see here that we have a jump box. It's called Show Used currently, in which we can actually change the parameters of how we look at our data groups by showing all, showing only the used, and showing something called selection sets, which we'll come on to in just a moment. We're going to keep it as show used. We're going to select and highlight just wall. Highlighting the wall group allows us to see every single object that makes up or is under a wall inside our building information model in Building Designer, and there's quite a lot of them. If we scroll down here on the right hand side, you will see there's everything from bricks to furrings to metal studs to metal panels, everything in between. It's very comprehensive, and the actual values and parameters that are on those objects as well are incredibly diverse. We can also sort these fields. We can sort them by name, or we could use standard methodology of just clicking on and sorting by ascending or descending. You can also just double click on the divisions and it will expand out, of course, automatically to the extents of the longest entry. So with that, we're going to come through now and start filtering all of this information down to something that we can use and we can need. To do that, we're going to just click on this one in the left hand side called Wall Leaf instead. As soon as we do that, Building Designer now drills down to every single material that makes up the construction of the wall itself. So let's just double click on instance name, for instance, and you can come down now and start seeing everything that has been placed. With that, we're going to take this list, which is incredibly long, 1069 items to be precise, and we're going to filter this down so it's more distilled for our needs and our wants as our project evolves. In this case, we're going to come to our part definition column. It's this one just here. Just double click on that. And now if we scroll across here, what we're going to do is sort this by just clicking on it once. With that, we're going to scroll down here until we come to a particular component. And that component is called wall component brick. So there's gypboard and stud at the moment. Gypboard again, 2 hour, 1 hour. Here we go. Wall component brick, and as soon as we click on that, you'll notice in my section cut there, it actually highlights in our model as it does in all the other open views. So pressing down Shift, I'm now going to scroll down to the end point of our bricks here, and there's, with my Shift key depressed, click once more, and using standard Windows methodology, that now selects from the top to the bottom of that list. I have all my bricks selected. Now, what I'm going to do now is actually aggregate those into one list rather than having to search for them, because I'm going to right click anywhere in the highlighted area. And I'm going to choose the third option down, Create Selection Set. Once I've done that, nothing seemingly has happened. Until that is, we come back across to our left-hand side, click on our filters at the top of the catalog types, and choose Show Only Selection Set. And here is our wall leaf selection set. So just highlight, select it, and all of our wall component brick parts are now presented to us. And all of their values that go with them. Now, some of these values and parameters that come with it help us with many other facets of our design of the schedules and reports. For instance, if we look at the area left gross, we can see the surface area brickwork from a gross perspective that is needed to complete the project. Now, that would be acceptable. If we scroll across just a little further and we look to the area right net, we can now see the actual net surface area of brickwork, and this allows and brings in any of the obstructions or openings that might actually be in our design. Therefore, it helps us gauge just how much brick that we'll need to be using in this particular session of our project. So if we come to our area left net, we can of course just click on the header here and sort from the smallest to the largest or the largest to the smallest, but also we can go ahead and here and right click on the header and choose auto sum. We're going to come also to the area left gross here and do the same thing. And you can see that we have the auto sum symbol here ready for us. This will actually auto-populate the columns and the amount when we export this out to, say, an industry standard package such as Excel. And that's what we're going to do now, because we're going to come to our data, our working unit format, numeric, and change this to subunits. And now once we've done that, we're going to come back to data, export to Excel. Excel opens, and if we scroll down to the end, you'll see that our auto summation now appears in our columns underneath the area left gross and the area left net. We could also change this to fractions by coming to standard processes in Excel and asking it to put those decimals into fractions for us. Okay, let's go back to Building Designer and Datagroup Explorer. In Datagroup Explorer, we're going to click on our main filter here and say Show Used again. And on the left-hand side, we're going to come down and highlight Windows, and to see every single instance of every window that is in our model currently. There's quite a few, 52. Then we're going to twirl down the window entry and select and highlight Window Schedule. The window schedule is a pre-configured schedule that includes only specific attributes and data that we have required of it. And it's actually delivered with Building Designer for you to take hold of and exploit. What we're going to do here is we're going to expand our dimension frame width and height. As these are pre-configured, it's already linked back to the Excel template file for efficiency and simplicity. And with that, what we're going to do here is come to our data tab, working units. Let's have a look at this in feet and inches. It's going to be great for us in North America. But if we want to export it out, we come back to data, unit format, numeric. We'll choose subunits again. And with that, we're going to export this out to Excel. This time, Excel opens up for us, and it's a totally different look. This is the pre-configured delivered spreadsheet for Windows schedules here in Building Designer, and it consists of 4 tabs across the bottom: Schedule, Schedule No Duplicates, Raw Data, and Pivot Table. Currently we're in the raw data, and this literally is all of the data based off all of those windows, and the types of windows, the width, height, depth, etc., everything that we want. Let's go and click on the right-hand side of that Pivot Table. And before we do anything else, let's right click and say refresh. And there we have a distilled view of the types of window. There are 5 types of window utilized in this structure and their data that goes with them. What we want to do though is take a look at it in yet another way. So let's come to schedule, the first tab here, and you'll see every single instance of them. As you scroll down, you'll see that there are all of them there. They're all aluminium, IGU type of glazing. And what we're going to be able to do then is to filter those down by using Schedule No Duplicates. And once again, we have a distilled list with some of the values that we want to see. So the first thing we need to do here is to click on our button here and come down to Save As here. And straight away it will open into our building sample support out schedules folder pre-configured for us. We're going to call this Windows XLSX, and we're going to save that. Next, what we're going to do here is that we're going to come across the right hand side here, and we're going to select this cell, just click and hold, and select everything that makes up this particular schedule. Right click on this, say copy. And having copied that, we're going to come back to Building Designer. In Building Designer, we're going to come across here to Task-Based Interface and further left to our Project Explorer tab, which immediately opens up for us. What we want to do is come down to Sheets, and in Sheets, twirl down Sheets. And inside of that, we want to pick on A901. All we need to do is just double click it. Let's fit our view here quickly. And now that we have that, we can come to our Edit menu, pull down menu, and underneath that, we can come to Paste. The Paste OLE object dialog box opens for us. And we want to click on Paste As. And in here, we want to show Link. And in our method, we want to place by size. And now you can see the outline of the size, the extent of our schedule. We're going to come up here to the top right-hand side and click once. And there is our schedule. If we take a chance just to zoom in here, you can see the actual data that's in there as well. There's a type of window, width, depth, height, the type is fixed, the material, etc., etc. All the columns are filled in. It's wonderful, and it's also linked dynamically. So should we change it, it will change and reflect that. And that's what we're going to do right now. Because what we're going to do is go back to our design file. And now in our design file, what we're going to be able to do here is come in and we're going to change some of the values of some of our windows, for instance. So what I'm going to do here is zoom into the windows either side of the entrance. And with that, I'm going to pass my cursor over one of these windows here. See that in my tooltip it says Reference Arch A Master Low-Rise Scheme Entry Atrium. What I need to do here is I want to change some of the parameters of this window. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose Activate Entry Atrium. And now, having activated that file, I come into the other window here, pressing down my control key, selecting that window as well, and then right clicking and choosing Modify Instance Data. The Modify Data Group Data dialog box opens. I need to scroll down here because I'm going to change the type of glass that I have in this window. And you can see here the glazing type into the window area says IGU. If I click on this, I can now choose Tempered. I can click OK. Then all I need to do then is come back, right click, and deactivate the A-Entry Atrium file to return back to my master model. Then I'm going to come across to my task-based interface, fourth tab down, Datagroup Explorer, and click on that to open it. In Datagroup Explorer, come down the left-hand side, twirl down Window, and select Window Schedule. If we scroll down the list here, you can see now that our value has changed under our glazing type to Tempered. So let's click on our data, pull down here, export to Excel. What that will do, it'll overwrite the previous window schedule. Window schedule opens up and you can see in our raw data we now have the two tempered. Our pivot table, if we right click and refresh that, you can see that we have a tempered column, tempered entry here. And now if we click on schedule no duplicates, you can see that we have in fact changed our entry. But more importantly, if we come back to Building Designer, let's close down Datagroup at the moment because we want to come back to Project Explorer and our sheets and sheets underneath that and double click on A901. And if we pan across here, we've got our glazing in here. That's fine because all we have to do actually is select our boundary of our schedule, come up to our edit menu and come down to this entry, update links. We have those updated links, the updated values and parameters that we've changed in our models populated throughout as we pull them into the next iteration of our design and the presentation drawings. So this has been Reports and Schedules inside of AECOsim Building Designer V8i. Thank you very much.